Takashi! 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 That Hunter x Hunter came out, chapter 390. Let's get it.
Boy, that was a good chapter of Hunter x Hunter. All right, man. Hold on. I didn't read this footnote. Let's see what it says real quick. All right. Starting next issue, we will be taking a hiatus.
You what?
Once a restart has been decided, it will be announced in a magazine.
What's going on, guys? Satsuki the Savage here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Hunter x Hunter chapter 390. I'm late with this video and no excuses from me. I literally just wanted to chill with the family, so that's why I didn't put this review out when the chapter came out. Now, of course, with this chapter, we all can see that we are back on hiatus. And if you have been reading Hunter x Hunter for a while, you know that this is a typical Togashi pattern. We get 10 chapters, enough for a volume, just enough for a volume. And then we go on hiatus. Now, we got 20 chapters this year, but again, it was broken up. It was 10 chapters, hiatus, 10 chapters, hiatus. So, based on the pattern, I believe that Hunter x Hunter may come back in May of next year, but that's just how it rolls. Now, talking about this chapter, I think I'll skip the summary and get right into my thoughts. Way back when, I think sometime in March, I made a video where I talked about 3 things. I talked about which prince I wanted to win the Succession War, which prince I thought had the best chance of winning, meaning which prince had the best tools at their disposal, and lastly, I talked about which prince I actually thought was going to win, and I picked Zhang Lei to win it all. Now, of course, that video hasn't aged well with the new information we have with these recent chapters, but I still think Zhang Lei winning it all isn't as far-fetched as you may believe, and here's why. For one, I think Zhang Lei is intelligent. 2, Zhang Lei has connections to the Mafia. 3, Zhang Lei is a high-ranking prince, so that means he has access to more spies. 4, Zhang Lei is the only son to Queen Zhao Li, so that means any information he tells his mother, it won't be leaked to the other princes, which is a huge advantage. Number 5, now this may seem like a weird one, but please bear with me. Zhang Lei has this reputation to where he's ruthless to those who oppose him, but to those he doesn't see as a threat, he can build alliances with them, as we can see with Kurapika. So, because of this reputation, Zhang Lei can make alliances with the low-ranked princes. Now, I'm not going to be completely biased here, so let's talk about the knocks against Zhang Lei. Now, Zhang Lei has 3 huge disadvantages in the Succession War. The first being is that he is black, and we all know Togashi doesn't like the brothers. And I'm being facetious for anybody who may take me serious. Real talk though. The first disadvantage Zhang Lei has is the fact that his bodyguards aren't well versed in Nin. Now, of course, thanks to Kurapika's teachings, they are learning Nin, but they're still going to be novices. Now, the second disadvantage that Zhang Lei has is the fact that he himself does not know Nin, and as Kurapika once said, the discrepancy between a Nin user and a non-Nin user is huge. So while this may seem damning at first glance, there is one benefit to Zhang Lei not knowing Nin. The benefit is simple. Because Zhang Lei does not know Nin, he is low-key in the Succession War. As we have seen with Hulkenberg, because of his huge surge in Nin, other princes and bodyguards have taken notice, namely Kurapika and especially Benjamin, because we can see Benjamin is putting a lot of resources into taking out Hulkenberg. Zhang Lei, however, doesn't have this problem. Even though he's the 3rd prince, because he doesn't know Nin, he isn't targeted by the other princes. In fact, as it stands right now, Zhang Lei doesn't really have any enemies amongst the princes, except for maybe to Beppa, but even she hasn't made any malicious moves towards Zhang Lei. Now, Zhang Lei's 3rd disadvantage is his guardian Nin Beast. Even though we don't know what Zhang Lei's Nin Beast does quite yet, because of what he said in his chapter. He was very adamant about it. His nin beast can't reach its full potential until he becomes king, if he becomes king. And because of that, it puts a limit, it puts a cap on his nin beast. And in comparison to other princes so far, they don't have that problem. So this is a disadvantage. Moving past all of that, Zanlei goes to his Zayu Connect and talks to the big boss, Onior. Zanlei questions Onior about Nin, and of course Onior doesn't know what Nin is, but he promises that he'll get some people to inform Zanlei on that. Onior also gives Zanlei some advice that he learned from his brother Kinatsubi, and that is good luck sleeps and waits. And how I interpret this quote is that instead of being aggressive, you should take a passive approach. Just sit back, chill, and let things play out, and you'll get your opportunity. So with that in mind, we can expect Zanlei not to make any big moves, as he's already said he's going to win the succession war on his wits alone. Now going back to the Zayu family, currently they have two objectives. The first is that they want to find Hisoka so they can control the Phantom Troop, and the second is to take out Morena's group, because right now they are on a killing streak. With the first objective, we basically get confirmation that Hisoka is not on deck 4, so he's probably higher up. I already think that he's one of the bodyguards, but I guess we'll see that next year. With the second objective, Onior sends the resistance against Morena's group to completely wipe them out, and the resistance consists of Heinrai, the underboss, Zakuro, and Lynch. These three people all know Nin, which makes the Mafia much more dangerous, because I initially thought that the Mafia members, none of them knew Nin, of course with the exception of the Heilei family because of Morena. I already knew they knew Nin, but now the Cha'ar family and now the Zayu family, they can cause a lot of havoc in the lower decks. Heinrai has an ability called Biohazard. Any device or weapon he touches can be changed into a living creature while maintaining its original function, and it can be manipulated at will. So based on that, Heinrai can turn these pair of scissors into a giraffe or something, and it can still cut you. On paper, this Nin ability seems cool because it can cause some serious confusion, but I don't think it'll be that useful in an actual fight. Then we move on to Zakuro, and he or she has an ability called Bloody Mary, where it allows them to freely control their blood. Now, this ability, in my opinion, was pretty dope. It reminded me of the Deadmans in Deadman Wonderland, how they could control their blood. Now, this ability isn't practical at all since you had to use your blood from your own body, so it's not something you can really keep up. And lastly, we have Lynch, who has an ability called Body and Soul, and this one was just golden. Basically, if you hit a target, you can make their soul snitch on them. This ability was pretty straightforward, but it is the perfect interrogation technique. And that pretty much wraps up the chapter. So from now on, we're going to be on hiatus mode, so you probably won't see any Hunter x Hunter reviews from me in the next few months, probably 6 months like I said before, or maybe even a year, because that's how Togashi operates. I still believe that this was a good chapter. We are left on the cliffhanger. We go on a hiatus knowing that two Mafia families are at war with each other. Now, as for what I will be doing with my Hunter x Hunter content going forward, I will still try to drop a discussion video here and there, at least one every month regarding Hunter x Hunter. We'll see. Don't hold me to that. So if you're here only for my Hunter x Hunter content, you bitch ass nigga, I still would try to appease you. But again, we're just waiting for the word on Togashi, which we don't know when that will be. I also have a fun fact for you guys. Did you know it's been almost 6 years since we have seen Gon? The last time we have seen Gon was in chapter 339, and that volume came out in 2012. Nigga, I was still in high school at that time. But guys, that is it for this review. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Satsuki the Savage, out.
Shit, it's that Z shit. Pull up in a demon on guard.
Moving past all of that. Moving past all of that. Oh.
I go hard in the motherfucking paint, nigga. Leave you stankin', nigga. What the fuck you thinking, nigga? I won't die for this shit or what the fuck I say. Front yard, broad day with the S.